Hi, Kevin.
Hi,
Um,
how are you?
I'm good. It's very, very early here in Norway. It's like 6 in the morning.
Oh, sorry. It's actually very convenient for me. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so you probably could have done this a bit later if you wanted to, but
Oh, I think
yeah.
I needed to do this before all the kids woke up.
Oh, I see. Fair enough. Yes.
I
Working from
thought,
home. Yep.
yeah, yeah. First of all, thank you so much for getting on this call.
That's okay.
And I hope everything is. I know you're in Melbourne, and I hope you're safe and healthy.
Yeah, we are sort of thing. We're on our second lockdown, which has been first time round. It was like, oh, a bit novel, a bit interesting, sort of thing. Like, oh, wow, we're staying home. Second time round is not fun at all. We sort of got out for about 3 weeks, and then suddenly cases went up, and then we went into like stage 4 lockdown. So the rest of Australia is just all having a good time, and we have a curfew. We're only allowed to go out of the house for 1 hour a day, and we have a curfew from 8 p.m. actually to 5 a.m. in the morning. So if you're out after 9 p.m. and
Wow.
yeah, it's really full on sort of thing. But there, and guess we've got like 12 cases.
Well,
12. I know.
okay.
Yeah, but we had 700. That was the thing. So
Yeah.
what happened was everything was going really well. Like it was also because Australia is like an island, so of course we can keep people out, sort of thing. Everything was going really well. It was really really low, and then suddenly in one day it went up to like 30, 60, 80, 100, 200, 300. Then it went up to 795. And that was because of Victoria took all the people from around Australia into quarantine, and then they had the security guards doing the quarantine. And then what happened was the security guards weren't taking it seriously because they were like Uber drivers and things like that. And then they started fraternizing with all of the people who are in lockdown. Some of them were having sex. And then
Okay.
that got into the into some suburbs, which is actually my suburb, and it got into the suburb, and then it just exploded. So we have like the council living apartments, and they can't social distance at all, and it just exploded in that. So the government took a really hard stance and just said you are all staying home again. So
Yeah.
they're not happy about it, but that's what you've got to do.
It's slap on the wrist.
It's a big slap on the wrist. It's just that so you can't have visitors at all. So it's just a bit boring, really.
But and yeah, of course it's no fun being at home and being in quarantine. But I guess th since this is happening globally, this is creating a new type of consumer behavior.
Yeah, definitely, because everyone's at home, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that, like wellness is like one of those things that's so important now because everybody wants to be well. And I think that what it's done is this making us stay home has actually slowed everything down. So we don't feel like we have to consume everything as much as what we did. And I think that people are actually going, you know what, I need to step back a little bit. Like there's a lot of things I don't need in my life. And I think there's a lot of things I do need in my life. And I think that wellness is part of that sort of journey as well, that people want to be their best selves.
Yeah, and I totally agree. We keep hearing about this wellness movement and what I realized during our lockdown in Norway in March is how big of a topic hairdressing was in the newspapers.
Yeah.
It was suddenly like, oh my God, I didn't know my hairdresser was that important to me, but oh, I missed them. That's
Yeah.
the headlines, and from there, I think we hear this, oh, what am I going to do now? And they try to soak in all this, everything that gets them feeling well and looking well. And
Yeah.
is that where you had, or is that where Scalp Spa kind of hits the?
Well, Scout Spa was because you imagine like that's a year in the working before you actually get to see it, sort of thing. So we were planning on that for a long time. But I think that to your point about people, the hairdressing thing, like they became like essential services. Like they're in Australia they're considered essential, sort of thing. So the hairdressers are still open in some states, and they didn't really close here. And people were sort of desperate for their hairdresser purely because it's I think that you get to offload emotionally when you get there as well. So people come in, they come in, they have like there's a little goal sort of thing. So you come in, you're changed sort of thing. So you've offloaded a whole lot of hair. You're a completely different person. You've told your hairdresser all of your problems sort of thing. And then you're like, oh, you know what? I feel 10 pounds lighter sort of thing. So there's a lot of joy that comes in for having like a hair appointment sort of thing. But the doing it at home, I think that the idea of wellness at home, because people just want to be like a version of their best selves as well. And like beauty and wellness have been crossing over for such a long time. And now like health, fitness, wellness, beauty, it's actually all wrapped up into the same thing. If you think about sort of like modern trends, like you can go like to a medi spa sort of thing, and it's medical, but it's a spa at the same time. So, and wellness is all sort of put into that. And I think that people want to be as healthy as they can. People want to have the longevity as well. So being well all of your life is means that you're probably going to live longer. And I think that like for myself, I'm always about sort of like preservation, because I need to preserve myself sort of thing, to try and like look as good for as long as possible. And I think that wellness comes out of that as well, because we've got an aging population.
Yeah, and I totally get that. What you said earlier about things slowing down, because I think more and more people are starting to realize that how you feel and what you look like is very more connected than they actually thought.
Yes. Yes.
And not like a superficial kind of way, but if I feel good, I look good, and and also with Scalp, I thought it just hit the market perfectly, because I've been seeing trends that people want. I want something in my hair that makes it look good, but I want it to move fast. I want it to go quickly. Yeah. Like Restore. People loved Restore. It's 3 to 5 minutes. It's no longer 30 minutes in the shower and you shave your legs twice. But then I started using Scalp Spa, and they were like, can you massage me for a little bit longer? They needed the contact, and they loved the feeling, and they loved that I took my time with it. And that's maybe why they want to bring more of the wellness back into their homes.
I think also there was a lot of like scalp has been like a dirty word sort of thing. So scalp was only like scalp care was used to be just about sort of function. It wasn't really about sort of anything. It didn't make you feel better. It actually made, if you bought a scalp shampoo, it meant that you had dandruff, and you probably bought like one of the ones that are really stinky and smelly, and it wasn't like a great experience. So, and no one tends to talk about it. So if you had a flaky scalp, and you're like, oh my God, I'm just so embarrassed about my flaky scalp. And because the products were really ugly to talk about as well. And to tell you the truth, they actually didn't really work either. I found that, because I thought that, I've always had scalp problems. And I thought that, I've just got a funny scalp sort of thing. That's just the way it goes sort of thing. I'm just really sensitive, and no matter what I use, and even when I use like say anti-dandruff shampoos, I'd still have a flaky scalp. I'm like, well, so it does nothing really sort of work. So when we came across this like combination of ingredients mixing like the perlite and the celery extract, and then it was like, wow, this actually works sort of thing. So we were quite happy that to bring something to market that is useful to people, and so people can actually use it and recover from their scalp problems.
I always felt that the scalp topic is the most unsexiest topic.
Unsexy as anything sort of thing. We tried to make it as sexy as possible. It was pretty hard, to say the truth, and I don't know if we've actually completed to make it sexy, but we tried to make it feel modern, and not feel ugly. I don't want to feel like, I feel bad about my scalp sort of thing. I don't want my scalp to be nurtured back to life. So for us, it's not about function like anti-dandruff or anti-oil. It's about balance sort of thing. So it's that wellness balance.
So you can use Scalp Spa and scrub and Scalp Spa wash, even if you don't have a scalp problem or issue.
Well, I think because scalp, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Then scalp is about your future hair sort of thing. Yeah. So it's about a really clean scalp, a really clean, healthy scalp leads to really healthy hair. So especially if your hair is on a bit of the finer side, because what you want to make sure is you want to keep those follicles really nice and clean, so that they're not getting stunted with the growth as well. Because sometimes you might have like phases of hair growth as well. So you've got I won't get too technical, but you've got a growing phase, a resting phase, and a falling phase. And as you get sort of older sort of thing, which is my sort of, as you get older, those phases go longer and shorter. And so you might have a really long falling phase and then a very short growing phase. So you want to make sure that scalp is always regularly clean, so that you're not getting hair loss as well. That's another thing, because I mean, it hasn't actually been sort of connected, but you can actually like dwarf your cells sort of thing by not having them nourished and clean and healthy all the time, and they can stop working correctly, which leads to finer hair.
Should have had this 10 years ago then.
Well, there's different types sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it's going to cure baldness or anything like that. You won't get any hair growing sort of thing, but it will just help the hair that you've got to stay healthy and optimize as much as you possibly can, because again, it's about being your best self sort of thing.
Because normally when we talked about scalp in the past, the hair was never mentioned.
We I think that
I've heard that you can cure dandruff, and Head and Shoulders is one of the most selling shampoos in Norway of all time. Yeah. And so people has problems, but they don't really talk about it. And then how I think I need to know who is this for? Is it like a moisturizing cream that we use so that we don't get dry skin? I mean, we don't go around never using moisturizer and then put on when the problem occurs. We use it so we don't want the problem.
I think that what it is, it's an exfoliator sort of thing. So we all know the benefits of exfoliating your skin. There are many sort of exfoliators to clean your face off as well. And so what it does is it cleans without drying out sort of thing. So it's not really moisturizing as such, but it's not drying it out. And so I think in the past, all those like the like Head and Shoulders and all those types of companies, they've now actually heading into a more moisturizing category as well, because what they found was people with dry scalps, you're perpetuating, it just goes oily, dry, oily, dry, oily, dry. And every time you dry the scalp out, your body goes, oh, I need to make some more oil. It's too dry out there. So then they go flooding with oil, and then you get dry, oily, and then you get that oily, scalpy, flaky, and then but what it does is you want to get into balance rather than just drying it out and then having to moisturize it off. So you want to make sure that you are balancing out the scalp so that your scalp repairs itself, so that you don't have too much spasmodic behavior, if you know what I mean.
Okay, that makes sense. That is kind of sexy though. Talking about
spasmodic behavior. I don't know.
So I want to go into a couple of the ingredients because I find them really interesting.
Okay.
The micellar.
The micellar. Yeah.
The micellar. Yeah. We have heard a lot about this ingredient in high-end skincare. We have heard a lot about different waters that people use, and then I was really excited when I saw it on the bottle.
Okay.
Can you explain what it is and what it does?
Okay, so micellar water is essentially it's derived from ours is sustainably harvested coconut, and what it does is very tiny droplets of oil dissolved in water. And what that does is that removes all the grist and the grime, but it doesn't strip the hair sort of thing. So because it's in water and they're very tiny droplets, very fine droplets of oil, it removes like dead skin cells, it removes dirt, oil, but it doesn't affect the pH sort of thing. So it's very, very gentle. And I think micellar was a game changer in skincare probably about sort of 5 years ago. So we're sort of really looking at the scalp as skin sort of thing, because there's actually no difference. So there's no difference from my skin here to my skin just there sort of thing. It doesn't it's like a big dramatic change. And we used to think that it was really different sort of thing, but actually now they're saying it was just got hair growing out of it sort of thing. So I've got hair growing out of my face, but I can still treat my face with face stuff sort of thing. But it's like, okay, just because hair's growing there doesn't mean that's a different thing. So scalp is skin. So we're really looking at it like skincare for your hair, essentially, by using like really gentle ingredients that don't disturb the pH and don't dry out the scalp.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know if this is global, but in Norway we tend to have more fine Nordic hair. People never want to use rinse in the roots because they are afraid it's going to get heavy. But they use the wash, and I always, I kind of feel like if we us humans didn't have any hair on the head ever, would we still just use our face cream, or would we use it all the way back to the neck? So
do you use it all the way back?
No, but I also use a rinse.
Okay, yeah. I think that I always get my rinse on my scalp sort of thing. I don't have. I think our products are light enough that they don't get heavy and greasy. I think that when you're dealing with like lower grade shampoos where they have to put a lot of stuff in it, and not naming any names sort of thing, where it does make the hair get heavy sort of thing. And people will be like, oh, I don't want to put on my roots, but I put conditioner on my roots every day because I want my scalp to be moisturized because I get a really dry scalp. And I use the Cool Angel every day sort of thing. So I'm constantly putting moisture onto my scalp because my scalp's really tight and I don't want to feel like that again.
I love using Angel Rinse, and I also love using Restore. I give myself a treatment even though I don't have any hair.
But still, you've got hair though, haven't you? Or is it you shave it off though? You still got hair.
Yeah, this is actually a tattoo.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so I got a shave.
But you got hair around here.
Yeah,
so you've still got follicles and things like that. So.
That's why I feel like it's so cool. Finally, that we can address the scalp the way that you are talking about now. But there is this other thing, and I don't know if I'm using this correctly. I'm using the Scalp Spa Scrub and the Scalp Spa Wash every day because I love it so much. All over.
Okay.
And not every day. Every time I go to the shower. There are these little perlites.
Yes.
Can you talk to me about perlites?
Okay, so perlites is sometimes called pearl stone, which sounds really pretty, and they're actually taken from volcanic rock. And what it is, they're formed by the rapid cooling of lava, sort of thing, which is sort of technical. The best part about it is what I found was a lot of the scrubs are made out of like salt or sugar. And that tends to dissolve really, really quickly. So by the time you actually get it sort of going and you want to have a scrub, it's not really scrubbing you anymore. And I found that also if you've got sort of like thicker heads of hair, by the time the scalp scrub comes down to your scalp, it's actually dissolved and therefore it's not exfoliating anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, so all that stuff's dissolved. So where's my scrub gone, sort of thing. So we didn't want to make them out of salt or sugar, and we also didn't want to dry out the scalp. Now, the good thing about the perlites is they are I'll tell you about how they're sort of made in a minute, sort of thing. But what they do is they go down, they clean the scalp, they exfoliate the scalp without drying out the scalp, which I think is really important. So again, we're keeping that pH balance. Everything's like nice and balanced. They remove all of the dead cells, but they don't dry anything out. So a lot of times in the past, the scalp shampoo would dry everything out. And therefore then you'd be out of whack again, sort of thing. Then you got that oily, dry, crazy head sort of thing. So the perlites are great because they don't dry anything else, but they exfoliate everything really nicely. They're made out of lava, and what they do is they're dug out of the ground, or it's a rock sort of thing that they smash up. We don't actually harvest them ourselves because I'm not out there, chopping rocks and things like that. It's called an eco-cert and green life ingredient, which means it's sustainable all the way from harvesting to housing to selling to growing it's very sustainable sort of thing, which is a great thing. And it's just a great ingredient sort of thing. So, but they're crushed into very tiny little spheres so they have no sharp edges. So you won't get any little cuts on yourself. And it's a fully sustainable ingredient. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah, we were really happy about it because when I was working in the salon, I find scrubs often were a little bit harsh on finer hair.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times that was because you might have like the scrubs might be sort of have spiky ingredients like sugar and salt. They're spiky sort of thing, so they can't get rounded. So these ones can make them they're very, very round, the spheres. So yeah. I don't know how they make them.
Yeah, funny.
That's beyond me, sort of thing. They're so tiny.
Then after lockdown was over in Norway, we've been traveling around salons, and we, of course, the Scalp Spa has been in my bag. And what is so funny you're saying it, because it is the people with the skinnier hair is like, oh, this feels nice, and people with thicker hairs, they go, oh, this really works.
Yeah, it's funny. It's we got a bit nervous about people getting it stuck in their hair, sort of thing, in the beginning. So I'm like, oh, is this going to get stuck? But because you're putting that as your pre-wash, so scalp is always a pre-wash, and then you go through the wash, and then you now link that with your regular KM shampoo and conditioner. By the time you get sort of down to the like third rinse, it's actually all gone, sort of thing. So because you are adding in that extra step, and we were nervous about putting that extra step in, but I think that people are happy to spend the time as long as it works, sort of thing. So they're washing their hair less times a week, so they don't mind spending a bit more time washing the hair when they do wash it. So
no, it's been an event going to the showers and washing the hair, and you know, you said everything's slowed down. I'm not just running through the showers anymore. I'm going in there for 30 minutes just to have a nice bath and fix my scalp. And
Yeah.
so can you use the wash as your daily shampoo? You mentioned scalp spa scrub, scalp wash, then your regular wash. Could scalp spa wash be your regular wash?
I don't see any reason why it couldn't be sort of thing, because it is really gentle. It does contain the micellar water, the celery seed extract, so it contains all the really great ingredients. I think that I would probably say that people with because sometimes if you've got textured hair, sort of thing, you've got highly textured hair, sometimes it might be hard to get those perlites out because it's really hard to get down there, sort of thing. So I'll probably recommend for someone who's got textured hair, if they find the scrub really difficult, they can just use the shampoo. And I find if someone is only doing like 1 or 2 things, so some guys don't want to go through 4 things. I know that I don't really want to do 4 things, so I would just use the scrub and the wash. And then on other alternate days, I would just use the scrub and my regular conditioner, sort of thing. So you could use it for your everyday. There's no reason why it would, sort of thing. There's no reason to hurt you at all, sort of thing. So it's not too strong. It's quite a gentle formulation, so it won't hurt anybody. But I don't know. Do people wash their hair every day?
Well, some do. We have these the people who go to the gyms every day.
Yeah.
I
think that what you're trying to do, because you're trying to repair the scalp, so I'd alternate. I'd say use your normal shampoo or conditioner, whichever you do. So I'd go, I'd say use scalp every 2 to 3 shampoos. So if you're washing your hair, 7 days a week, then you're going to give them, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So they go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's how I would sort of do it, sort of thing. I would probably every 2 or 3 shampoos, no matter how many times you wash your hair a week or whatever.
Yeah, every 2 or 3 shampoos.
Yeah,
nice.
Because it is a treatment product, so you want to treat it as a treatment product. You don't want to have to be stuck there using it for the rest of your life, as well.
Well, I think the smell is amazing.
I know the smell's really good. So we tried really hard. I didn't want it to smell like peppermint or minty, or I didn't want to have any of those things in it. I was like, I want to feel sophisticated when I'm using something. I don't want to feel like the products are close to something you can get at a drugstore as well. So that's really important for me. I think that we want to feel good about using our stuff. We want our products to be part of our lives as well, but we don't want them to smell like the cheap ones, sort of thing.
No. And you mentioned, I think it's easy to talk about the micellar and the perlites, but you mentioned the celery seed extract.
Yeah.
And a little bit in Sydney whispered to me that is the true hero.
Yes, that is the key ingredient, to tell you the truth. So that's the one, because that's the one that's giving you all the balance. So the celery seed extract is good because it addresses the problems of both oily and dry scalps, sort of thing. So that's the one that's bringing you back into balance. And essentially, essential oils, natural ingredients, they're all about just keeping you on this level playing field. Because if you think about it, like our body's always like sort of yin and yang. So if you go too far one way, then your body goes, oh, I'm just going to dry that out. Oh, because the body's always trying to get that equilibrium all the time. So it works with your body as well. And that's like an eco-cert and green life ingredient, because it's sustainably harvested all the way from manufacture to harvesting, all the way to it gets delivered at your door, sort of thing. So it's got a really good certification to it. So it's a really favorite ingredient of ours at the moment.
I think it sounds really amazing that to treat both, to keep that, like you mentioned, balance is key. So I just want to, to the people who's going to look at this in Norway, are you using Scalp Spa when you have a problem and when you don't want a problem?
When you don't want a problem, because it's about your future, sort of thing. So it's all about what's the word they say? It's all about preventative, sort of thing. So I think you want to prevent things from happening. So you just pop that into your regular routine. I think that doing it too much can be a bit of an issue. Like I got obsessed with scrubs, and I was using this Aesop scrub. And I was using it. I was like, oh, this is really nice. I was using it every day. I'm like, wow, I love it. My skin feels amazing. I don't have to do anything. And people saying, wow, your skin's amazing. And I'm like, yes, it's fantastic. But then I started to get a rash sort of thing, and I got a bit itchy. And then my body completely broke out, and I couldn't use it anymore because it was just too strong, sort of thing. So I think that I was really mindful of that when we were making the scrub, and to make it sort of feel like I want to use natural therapies, so it's calming, soothing. So this scrub that I've got that I was using was very active, and after a while I got really sort of irritated in my skin for it. So, and I wasn't very happy about that, and I was like, I'm not going to use anything. So
because yeah, so if you have a super scalp problem, you should always go for your trouble solver, maybe recommended by a doctor. But once that problem is solved, maybe scalp spa is the thing to use in between. So it might take a lot longer until that chronic problem reoccurs.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is we'll just help keep that problem away, sort of thing. Because I remember going to a doctor because I had very sensitive skin, and on my scalp, what happens, my scalp would be really very irritated, and then it would start like spreading down into my face. And then he said, oh, you have to use cortisone. And I'm like, oh, really? So I had to massage cortisone into my scalp all the time. And then what I found was that I had to exfoliate it all the time, sort of thing, just to stop that, because it's called a horny layer, and it just grows like crazy, and you need to exfoliate that all the time just to keep it down. And I found that I could wean myself off all those chemicals because I didn't really want to have cortisone every day, because cortisone's really sort of, I mean, it was a miracle cure of the 30s, but it's not considered to be that great anymore, and you want to have it in very tiny doses and hardly have anything at all. So I was able to wean myself off of cortisone by using like scalp scrubs and things, and keeping myself clear and clean, sort of thing. So
yeah, but I for me, I don't know, but this is the first time I have beard, maybe because I don't have any hair that I need to have something, but I've always had really irritated skin underneath the beard.
Okay.
I've never been a fan of beard oils because it feels greasy, and I've used, a lot of treatments for hair instead. And really don't want, I want the softness, the smoothness, but I really don't want products in it. And for me, Scalp Spa Scrub on the face completely took away all the dandruffy thingy, and it kind of fixed skin underneath. And the Scalp Spa Wash gives me the feeling that I'm looking for. It's actually the first product I've ever used in the shower that leaves my beard the way I want it, so that where I don't need products afterwards.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing, because because your scalp is the same as your skin. I'm just going to move my chair away. Sorry, sitting down for too long gets me. I'm not, because I'm a hairdresser, I'm not used to sitting down all the time. I've sat down for like 6 months now. The scalp, the skin on your face is no different from the skin on your scalp. So anything that's going to help your scalp is going to help your skin around here, especially because there's not much air getting in there as well. So you need to be able to exfoliate and do the same thing. And I know that Luis also has a beard, and he always gets really irritated skin under the beard, and then when he has a shave, he's like all blotchy. I haven't told him to use the scalp spa on his face, but I think maybe I should now.
By far the best I've ever had on my face. So,
I think it was just because all the scalp products in the past, they never really worked. Like I put them on, I'd use them. I was like, I just thought I just must have had a bad scalp. So when we came across this complex of ingredients, we were sort of really happy. So it's the combination of like gentle cleansing, the combination of the perlite, which is, it's not irritating the skin at all. And then with that, the celery seed extract, which really is the key, because balancing you back up again. So, and it works pretty much straight away. And a lot of times I'd use scalp products and I'd still have the flakiness. It's like, well, nothing was working. So we're really very happy to be able to make something that could work, because it's good to have good products that do stuff.
Everybody says that when you start using proper problem solvers for your scalp, it will tend to get worse before it gets better. But
it doesn't have to get worse before it gets better. Should be getting better straight away. Like I found the first time I used the scrub, I was like, okay, I can feel it straight away. It's certainly now I don't even have any scalp problems at all now. sort of thing. And I used to really hide away and like, oh, don't touch your hair in public because you'll get flakes on your shoulders. And so what I do now is my scalp is free all the time, sort of thing. And I just every couple of days I just use the scalp scrub.
Yeah,
and it's not hard. Yeah,
you can actually use, like you said, I'm gonna try this, a scalp spa scrub and rinse sometime.
Yeah, I do scalp spa scrub, and then I just do Cool Angel because I'm a bit, frosty, as you can see.
So Angel, of course, not because of age.
No, it's just because I'm cool. That's why. Yeah. No, the Cool Angel, because what it does is my hair's white, sort of thing, in part. So what it does, it just adds that bit of color in there. So I just look gray. I'd rather look gray than white, if that makes sense. Because having white hair is just too much like Father Christmas or like a sea captain, something like that. Yeah.
I've heard that you also like to mix Cool Angel into leave-in repair and leave it in your hair.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot, sort of thing, because I thought that would really make it go grayer, sort of thing. Now that I'm getting into the summer months, I don't really need it quite as much. But I know that a lot of people with color damage, it's really, really good thing. Like Paz was doing that as well. Paz, who works with us, she got very, very dark hair, and she'd bleached her hair almost right off one stage. And she said, all I can do is put in leave-in repair with Cool Angel. I can't touch my hair again, sort of thing. So, because she'd damaged her hair so much. So she's a bit naughty with the bleach bowl, that one.
Yeah. Luckily, she looks very good with very short hair.
Yeah, because you'll never be able to grow it because you can't keep her hands out of it.
Okay, Kevin. I think we've covered the important stuff. And,
okay.
Scalp spa and scalp spa scrub it's really about the feeling you get when using it. I feel like, if I can tell you my point of view, I think the foaming of it is so luxurious, like kind of like meringues before it stiffens. It's really good feeling, and I want to thank you for talking about scalp. Like sexy.
Yeah, we didn't want to make it a problem. It's like I don't have got enough problems in my life. When I first started making products, like the idea of every products were called dull, dry, lifeless, limp, and damaged. And I'm like, dull, dry, lifeless, limp, and damaged. Like, I don't want to get in the shower and think that I'm dull, lifeless, limp, or damaged, sort of thing. But all hair products would say that for dull, dry, limp, or damaged. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be damaged. So I wanted people to feel good about stuff, sort of thing. So even with Scalp Spa, like it was really hard to get a name, to tell you the truth. And I know that Scalp Spa Scrub is very, very hard to say. And I wish that I'd probably thought about it another way, sort of thing. But every time we go to the lawyers, I'd have a name and they go, can't use that one. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'd have another name and they go, can't use that one. I'm like, oh. And then I got right down to the 50 names later, sort of thing, because I wanted to call it hair rehab. It was all these things. They're like, well, you can't say rehab. Because I was like, oh, okay, can't I? But anyway, so we got down to the bottom. So Scalp Spa Scrub was the last one on the list. And they said, no, this one's fine. No one's got it. And I'm like, oh, damn. Because it's very hard to say with a lisp.
I love that. Yeah. I love that you put spa in there. It gives you that positive feeling.
Yeah.
And, you don't go to the spa to solve any problem. Maybe you go there.
We go to the spa to feel really good, sort of thing.
Yeah. The wellness. So I just have one more question for you, because I follow your husband on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
What has been or is your favorite lockdown outfits?
Okay, well, I think that I will probably never wear a pair of jeans ever again, sort of thing. I think that we've been so addicted to stretchy pants that all I've done is I put a pair of jeans on the other day and I was like, oh, these are really uncomfortable, sort of thing. Just every time you sort of like take a step, I'm like, I'm chafing. This is like really hard. So we'll probably stretchy pants and loose shirt, sort of thing, is the way to go. Like this shirt's like super loose, sort of thing. Stretchy pants, elasticized waist. I'll never have a fitted waist again, I don't think.
I'm not jumped on the kimono.
Luis, no, he likes the kimonos, so he saunters around like this. So he's got silky pajamas, sort of thing, and then with the kimonos over the top. And he bought one, and it was so full on. I'm like, Luis, it's like really, you're going to take all the furniture with you, sort of thing, because it was so heavy and it was so long. And I'm like, you can't wear that, sort of thing. And he's like, I'll try. And then so now I think he's bought 4 kimonos, and he says he's bought me one, but I'm not really the kimono type, sort of thing. So I'm like more, I don't like to swanter around the house, sort of thing. So
You got
I don't need any more extra weight for me either.
You got to buy him something called Norwegian Rain.
Oh no, what's it called?
No, Norwegian Rain.
Norwegian Rain.
Yeah, it's actually a raincoat made out of old plastic bottles.
Is it?
From two Norwegian designers, and they have actually been in Japan recently for a long time now, and they're given the task to redesign kimonos. So they got kimono raincoats made out of plastic bottles.
Okay, that sounds good. You have to text me or email me the information, and I'll surprise Luis because his birthday is coming up.
These are good, and I know it's he will love it. It's high end.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll make sure I won't let him hear me. He's in the other room, so he's got the door closed. Yeah.
Okay. Titan and Kevin, thank you so much for making all our products and being in all our bathrooms, and
thank you
for taking the time for this chat.
That's my pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to get up so early in the morning so that you could do this. So this is a very sensible hour for me. I was like, wow, because I'm used to Europe, everything's at nighttime. So we have the fake lights, all that stuff. And it's like nice to be in daylight and during working hours where I can actually, talk to you for like, 30 minutes and talk about the products, because that's what I love to do.
Nice. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much. So I'll see you later.